Welcome back. This is The Nation at 5 right here on CNN News 18. Our next story takes you to Yuba in California, a small town where you have 300,000 Sikhs who gather every year for a Sikh Nagar Kirtan that takes place. This is believed to be the second largest gathering of the Sikh community, the largest outside of India itself that takes place. We're going to go over it right now to cover a particular incident that took place at this Sikh Nagar Kirtan event. Reports are indicating to us that two groups from within the event actually clashed. This was after the Sikhs for Justice group announced that they would hold another referendum, this time an American one, in the beginning of January. Now, it's believed that the clash was related to that. However, we'll have a reporter join us in just a few minutes to bring us confirmations in terms of exactly what took place. Now, this area in California is an area that has a Sikh population that's been there since the 1980s. Recently, law enforcement officials have arrested 17 members of different rival Sikh syndicates. They've talked about the increased problem that exists, the security problem that exists within these communities. Now, that's a recent update that's just taken place. The event that we're talking about, as we've already told you, is a Sikh Nagar Kirtan. The one that took place this year was the 44th. Next year, the gathering is expected to be extra large when it is the 45th. Now, we're showing you right now on the screen behind me visuals that are coming in. As you can see on the right side of your screens, these are visuals coming in from Yuba in California, where that gathering actually took place. As we've already told you, this was at the 44th annual Nagar Kirtan event, the Sikh Nagar Kirtan event that takes place. Now, estimates for how many people were there vary. As you can see, 200,000 to 300,000 is actually the estimated number of people that were gathered there. Now, my colleague Abhishek is on the phone to bring us more details. Abhishek, we've told our audiences about the Sikhs for Justice announcement. Can you tell our audiences, though, how is it related to what took place in the rally? I know, for example, that there are reports that an aeroplane actually flew over the gathering of people. It had a sign attached to it. Can you bring us more details about what actually took place at the event?
Well, we have seen Khalistani activists creating scene or coming up with referendum and all sort of anti-India rhetoric and propaganda. But this was a unique opportunity where the Khalistani factions fought among themselves only. This has happened at, as you told, at the 44th annual Nagar Kirtan event that was being held in Yuba City, and about 2 lakh people. That was the kind of strength that crowd had, and in that crowd only, we could see videos and footages that have emerged where dozens of people from both sides could be seen fighting with sticks and verbally abusing each other, and that is mostly to have a dominant faction over the entire Khalistani propaganda that these groups are trying to create. Largely speaking, the diaspora, the Sikh diaspora, are not appreciating these activities of some of the people, some of the fringe elements who are trying to tarnish the image of the entire community in the name of Khalistan, and they do not have a wider people base, but they do try to create antics through social media posts and through major events where they try to sabotage some community event of Indian communities or Hindus, temples being desecrated in the recent past that we have seen. These are incidents just to try to showcase that Khalistani movement are everywhere and they have huge support. But the ground reality is that they do not have unity among themselves only. So this was a very blatant exposure in terms of the unity that is clearly dividing, especially in the recent months. We have seen multiple terrorists from the factions being killed or having been eliminated. It looks like the steam of the entire movement or the propaganda that was based on anti-India rhetoric is losing very, very fastly.
Can you tell our audiences, Abhishek, now about the size of the SFJ movement, if there is a size to talk about at all in Yuba City? Because we've previously discussed Canada in quite a bit of detail. But in America, in California, what is the kind of support, if any, that this group receives?
Well, the Yuba Sikh Nagar Kirtan is a regular every year annual event that the Sikh community try to celebrate peace, harmony, and their group also. But the large diaspora that is part of social, political, and economical aspect of the U.S. society does not attribute or does not feel comfortable with the Khalistani movement, and this is what has happened at this Yuba Nagar Kirtan event also, where there are reports and there are videos also which can easily show the helicopters flying with a banner with the written text of Delhi will be Khalistan. This has been the anti-India sentiment that these groups are trying to propagate among the Sikh community members, which of course is not finding a lot of base and support. And probably that frustration is emanating from the group's activities. We have seen SFJ's chief Pannu also releasing a statement recently where he has said
Okay.
that after 19th of November, flight
Can I
Air
just
India
ask you,
flight
Abhishek,
would
to
be.
wait with us? We have a guest, an expert who's with us right now, former diplomat J.K. Tripathi, who's with us right now on the show. Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us here on CNN News 18. Sir, if I may ask you, this story that we're talking about, it's one we're sharing with our audiences just one day after we highlighted a different, particularly important story. You had the SFJ chief issue a warning to Sikhs across the world in video format. He essentially told them not to ride or board a plane of Air India on November 19th. Sir, combining that incident with this incident, how do you look at the SFJ's recent movements, the recent developments concerning them?
You see, SFJ is out and out a Khalistani outfit, and they have, as Pannu had already been saying, that they will plan to start or accelerate the subversive activities in India. And 19th November, I've been flying out on Air India in 19th November. You know, 19th November sounds some bells. 19th November was the birthday of Mrs. Gandhi,
Right.
Mrs. Indira Gandhi. And they accused Indira Gandhi of killing Khalistani movement. And that's why he has warned that there would be some supportive activity, and that's why Sikhs should not fly there. So it's a sort of threat in disguise by SFJ, and this calls for added security measures on all Air India flights emanating from Canada or US or UK even, because this is very serious thing which government should. And I think the news that there had been clashes between the two groups of Khalistani Sikhs is a welcome news for us.
Okay.
That shows that there had been cracks. Cracks are visible in Khalistani movement,
Mr.
and
Tripathi,
that also means that finally some of the elements in Khalistani movement are perhaps realizing that it is futile to fight against the Indian government because public sentiment is against them.
Mr. Tripathi,
So
thank
that's
you for joining us
yeah.
this evening and providing us with your expertise on this story. Okay, we're going to go back to my colleague Abhishek, who's also with us, providing us with context on this story in particular. Can you tell us, or can you tell our audiences, Abhishek, we just touched on the big story we'd reported yesterday, also related very much to the SFJ, the Air India warning that was put out by Panoon yesterday, where he essentially told Sikhs across the world not to board an Air India plane. Can you tell our audiences, Abhishek, behind the scenes, what was the Ministry of Aviation's response to that? All right, I think we've lost my colleague Abhishek. We'll hope to re-establish that connection in just a little while. Remember the story that took place yesterday. What exactly was that? Let's take a look. You essentially had the SFJ chief, Gurpatwant Singh Panoon, issue a statement. And this is a statement he made via video. He put out a statement in which he said that all Sikhs should stay away from boarding an Air India plane on November 19th. Now, remember, that date is important for two reasons in particular. Number one, as we just had our guest point out, it is the birthday of the former Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi. But it is also important because it's when the ICC World Cup final will be taking place. It's believed that for that reason this date was selected because of the kind of attention that date receives. We talk a little bit more about the security establishment's reaction to it. We'll also take a deeper dive into this story itself. We're playing out visuals for you right now that are coming in from the UB region in California. This is where today's story is focused. It's in UB in California, where 300,000 people came together this year itself to celebrate, as we're already telling you, a Sikh Nagar Kirtan.